What if a single leaf could give someone the courage to live? This is the story of The Last Leaf, one of the most touching short stories written by O. Henry. In a quiet little neighborhood called Greenwich Village, two young women, Sue and Johnsy, lived together in a small apartment. Sue and Johnsy were artists, and they had come to the city with dreams in their hearts and hope in their eyes. They worked hard, shared a close friendship, and tried to build a life through art. But one winter, everything changed. A deadly illness, pneumonia, began to spread through the city. It moved silently from house to house, and soon pneumonia reached their little apartment too. Johnsy fell seriously ill. She became very weak and spent her days lying in bed, staring silently out of the window. Sue was deeply worried. She cared for her friend Johnsy with all her heart. Sue called the doctor, gave Johnsy medicine, tried to keep her warm, and did everything she could to lift Johnsy's spirits. But Johnsy had lost all interest in life. Her body was weak, but even more dangerous was the sadness that had taken hold of Johnsy's mind. Outside the window of their room, there was an old ivy vine creeping up the wall of the next building. Day after day, as the cold wind blew and autumn faded into winter, the leaves of this ivy vine began to fall. Johnsy, in her state of illness, watched these fallen leaves constantly. And one day, she said something that shocked Sue. Johnsy said that when the last leaf will fall from the vine, she too will die. Initially, Sue tried to laugh it off. She told Johnsy not to say such things. She reminded Johnsy that leaves fall because of the season, not because of human life. But Johnsy was serious. In her weak and hopeless state, Johnsy had somewhat connected her life to that vine. To her, every falling leaf was a step closer to the end. Sue did not know what to do. She was frightened. In the same building, downstairs, lived an old artist named Berman. Remember, an old artist named Berman. Berman was poor and rough in manner, but he had a kind heart. He had spent many years talking about painting a great masterpiece, yet he had never actually painted one. Berman lived alone, and though he often appeared grumpy, he cared deeply for Sue and Johnsy. When Sue told him about Johnsy's strange belief that she would die when the last leaf fell, Berman was upset. And that night, the weather grew terrible. The wind howled through the streets. Rain beat against the windows. It was the kind of storm that could easily tear the last leaves from the weak old vine. And it actually did. During that time, Johnsy was deep asleep. And when morning came, Johnsy looked out of the window. She saw the last leaf to be still there. The last leaf was clung to the wall, green and determined, despite the storm last night. Johnsy was surprised. All day she kept looking there. And that was the time she started to eat again. Johnsy started speaking with more interest, spoke of the future. She said she wanted to recover. But then came the truth. What was the truth? That leaf, that last leaf, had never been real. On the stormy night while everyone slept, old Berman had gone outside in the freezing rain and painted a leaf on the wall, so perfectly that it looked real even in daylight. Berman had painted it there so that Johnsy would see it and believe that not everything gives up in a storm. And for that, Berman paid a terrible price. He fell seriously ill, standing outside in the cold and getting wet for so long, painting his final work in the darkness. Soon after that, Berman died of pneumonia. And this is the heartbreak at the center of this story. Berman had always dreamed of painting a masterpiece. And when he created it, it was his last one. Right? And this is what makes The Last Leaf such a beautiful story. It reminds us that hope can return in the smallest and quietest ways. Sometimes one act of kindness can become someone else's reason to keep going. Right? Follow Tell a Tale with Heena for more such beautiful tales.